They never taught you this in school. The most dangerous people don't announce their moves. They don't argue. They don't explain. They exist in a void so calculated that everyone around them starts making fatal mistakes. Extreme silence isn't weakness. It's predatory intelligence waiting to strike. How silence weaponizes your mind against modern chaos. Walk into any boardroom where real power sits. Notice something? The person controlling everything barely speaks. While everyone pitches, argues, and performs, there's always that one individual leaning back, expressionless, absorbing everything. Their silence creates a vacuum so uncomfortable that others rush to fill it with confessions they never intended to make. That's weaponized silence. The Stoics called it apatheia, not apathy, but immunity to external chaos. Marcus Aurelius commanded legions, yet his greatest battles happened in the silent fortress of his mind. While barbarians attacked borders, politicians schemed, and generals demanded action, he retreated into internal quietude. From that silence came decisions that shaped history. This wasn't meditation for relaxation. This was cognitive warfare. Here's where it gets darker. Intelligence agencies train operatives in something called conversational vacuum. During interrogations, trained agents don't break under physical pressure. They break under silence. When someone stops asking questions and just stares, the human brain panics. It desperately wants to fill that void. Secrets spill, plans unravel, all because someone mastered the art of strategic silence. Ensis Rule 6. Never say you're sorry, it's a sign of weakness. But there's a deeper layer. When you constantly apologize, explain, or justify, you're hemorrhaging power. Silence communicates absolute confidence. It says, I don't owe you an explanation. Figure it out yourself. That cognitive load you force onto others? That's control. Consider your daily interactions. How many times have you over-explained a decision and watched vultures pick it apart? How many times have you defended yourself when silence would have made them question their own position? Every unnecessary word is leaked intelligence. Every emotional reaction is a vulnerability mapped and stored. The samurai understood kiai, the shout before striking, but the most lethal samurai rarely used it. Their silence before attack was more terrifying because opponents couldn't predict timing. In modern terms, stop announcing your moves on social media. Stop explaining your strategy to coworkers. Operate an information blackout until victory is irreversible. Want to know what happens when you weaponize this in your professional life? Why? Ancient warriors knew silence destroys enemies without combat. There's a brutal story from feudal warfare. A warlord faced internal rebellion. Instead of executing traitors publicly, he implemented something more devastating: total silence. No accusations, no confrontations, just absolute communication blackout. Within weeks, the conspirators devoured each other through paranoia. He never lifted a sword. The silence did the killing. This connects to Power Law 28. Enter action with boldness. But here's the conspiracy theorists' twist: bold action preceded by strategic silence is unstoppable. While enemies scramble to interpret your intentions, you're already executing the endgame. Wall Street operators use this religiously. They accumulate positions in complete silence, then announce when markets can't react. Navy SEALs train in something called noise discipline. It's not just physical quietness, it's mental. A mind screaming with fear, doubt, or excitement leaks energy that compromises missions. Elite operators achieve a state of internal silence so profound they become invisible even in plain sight. Their presence doesn't trigger threat responses because there's no emotional frequency to detect. Apply this practically. Next business negotiation, try this. Make your offer, then shut up completely. Let silence hang in the air like a blade. Watch the other party squirm. Watch them make concessions just to escape the discomfort. The first person who speaks loses. This isn't theory, this is street-level psychological warfare that works in salary negotiations, sales, conflicts, everything. Viking berserkers were famous for battle rage, but the most feared Norse warriors were the Ulfhednar wolf warriors who fought in eerie silence. Their quietness created supernatural dread. Enemies couldn't predict attacks, couldn't read intentions, couldn't exploit emotional patterns. Modern application? In confrontations, while someone screams accusations, you remain stone-faced. Their energy dissipates, yours concentrates. There's a reason meditation retreats attract CEOs and special forces operators. It's not spirituality, it's tactical advantage. A silent mind processes information exponentially faster. Pattern recognition increases. Decision-making clarifies. While your competitors drown in information overload and emotional noise, you see the matrix code others can't perceive. What if every provocation you ignored made you stronger instead of weaker? What if your silence triggers self-destruction in everyone around you? Here's something they don't teach in psychology classes. The human brain is wired to seek closure. When you deny someone a response, their brain enters a loop trying to solve the puzzle of your silence. This loop consumes energy, creates anxiety, and eventually leads to mistakes. You didn't attack them, you just didn't respond, yet they're destroying themselves. Power Law 4. Always say less than necessary. But combine this with operational silence, and you create something more sinister. You become a ghost in people's minds. They don't know if you're plotting revenge, if you've forgotten, or if you're 10 moves ahead. This uncertainty is more devastating than any direct confrontation because it never ends. Special forces use gray man tactics, becoming so unremarkable nobody remembers you were there. But there's an elite version, being present yet cognitively invisible. You attend meetings, observe everything, contribute minimally. Months later, when you execute your strategy, everyone wonders how you knew so much. You were there the whole time. They just discounted you because silence reads as absence. Look at historical power brokers. The Rothschilds built an empire while nobility partied loudly. Silicon Valley's real power players aren't the ones giving TED Talks. They're the silent partners, the anonymous investors, the advisors. Nobody photographs. Visibility is for pawns. Silence is for kings. Here's a brutal exercise. Next time someone attacks you verbally, professionally, personally, online, respond with absolute nothing. Not even acknowledgement. Watch what happens. They'll escalate, trying desperately to provoke reaction. Then they'll question themselves. Then they'll move on, having wasted energy while you lost nothing. You just turned their attack into their own defeat without engaging. The samurai concept of mushin, no mind, isn't Zen philosophy. It's battlefield technology. When your mind is empty of ego, fear, and desire, you become unpredictable. Unpredictable opponents are undefeatable because there's no pattern to exploit. In corporate warfare, relationships, competition, when people can't read you, they can't beat you. Ready to understand how the silence becomes your greatest asset in every area of life? Type ghost in the comments if this resonates. Tell me, where in your life would strategic silence give you immediate advantage? Don't forget to like and subscribe. Iseo Potter real sempre pertencu aos invis veus. There's a dark theory circulating in certain circles. The loudest voices in media, politics, entertainment, they're not running anything. They're performers. The real architects operate in complete silence. No interviews, no social media, no public profiles, just silent execution of agendas while masses focus on theatrical distractions. Whether you believe this or not, the principle is undeniable. Silence equals strategic invisibility. Ensis Rule 39. There is no such thing as coincidence. When you operate in silence, your successes look like luck to others. They can't trace the preparation, the calculation, the strategic patience. This protects your methods while building mystique around your results. People attribute your wins to fortune instead of skill, which keeps them from studying and copying you. Ancient mystery schools taught initiates to guard knowledge through silence, not because information was sacred, but because revelation dilutes power. When you broadcast your strategy, you invite interference, competition, and sabotage. When you build in silence, you present finished fortresses others can only admire or attack ineffectively. Relationship dynamics shift dramatically with strategic silence. The partner who remains calm during conflicts, who doesn't chase emotional escalation, who processes before responding. That partner holds leverage, not manipulation, but mastery. While one side burns energy reacting, the silent side maintains clarity. When they finally speak, words carry the weight of considered decision, not emotional impulse. Professional world, build your empire quietly. While others announce every minor achievement on LinkedIn, you execute in darkness. When your advancement becomes visible, it's already too late for competition. You're already unreachable. This applies to businesses, investments, skill development, everything. Silence protects your position until it's unassailable. Final question: will you remain reactive, loud, predictable? Or will you choose the path of the unstoppable, those who dominate through strategic void? The choice rewrites everything. Your silence becomes the sound of inevitability approaching. Drop operator if you're ready to move in shadows. Share this if you know someone who needs to learn when to shut up and level up. What's the first area you're applying? Extreme silence? Hit subscribe because this knowledge goes deeper. Disclaimer: this content is intended strictly for educational and philosophical purposes. The strategies presented should be applied ethically, responsibly, and in compliance with applicable laws. Any inappropriate or unethical use of the mentioned techniques is the sole responsibility of the individual.